Is your car running like a dream, or does it need a little TLC? At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we treat your vehicle like it's one of our own. Let's hear what some customers have to say about Dr. Automotive.
Been coming to them ever since he opened up. Good family. I recommend other people to get them repaired here because I knew they would do it and do it right. Been happy to send people to him because I trust what he does so much.
We're crazy about him. It's all about the doctor.
For quality care you can trust, visit Dr. Automotive in Smyrna. We've got the cure for your car.
AFFI is Middle Tennessee's premier choice for pest, wildlife, and moisture control. They specialize in those difficult and unique cases. You can reach them by phone at 615-300-2395. That's 615-300-2395. Or stop in at 200 Glenrose Lane in Smyrna.
My wife and I enjoy going by Yard Sale Inc. We usually go to both locations, the one in Smyrna as well as the one in Murfreesboro. A lot of times on Saturday mornings we stop by, and their inventory changes weekly, so you never know what you're going to see, and it's mostly open box. The name fits it. It's exactly that. It's a yard sale. If you don't totally agree with the price, the staff is always friendly and nice and willing to work with you.
That's the Yard Sale store in Smyrna at 111 Enon Springs Road West, in Murfreesboro at 204 South Front Street, and online at bestdealintown.com. Mike and Felicia Sparks, owner of the Vanity Zone Salon, want to invite you to stop in for your next haircut or color. Their stylists Michelle, Tori, Tracy, Brandy, Sarah, and Gail offer the best creative cuts and color for all ages, for men and women. The Vanity Zone is located at 732 Nissan Drive in Smyrna, to the right of the Crystals Restaurant. To look and feel your best, visit the Vanity Zone Salon today. Call 615-355-1721 to book your next appointment.
And I remember, okay, are we on? Okay, yeah, I can remember.
All right, you're listening to Conversation with Mike Sparks. I'm your host, Mike Sparks. Connor, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing good, sir. How's school?
You know, graduated.
Oh, I forgot you graduated.
Jeremy graduated too.
Jeremy graduated.
Yeah, I graduated
too.
as well.
Yeah, Jeremy Spencer, our trust intern.
How you doing, Mike?
Roger, doing good. Roger, how you doing?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
Doing good. And I got my buddy, Keith Bratcher, Captain Keith Bratcher. How you doing, Keith?
I'm doing good, Mike. Glad to be here, man.
Did you like that big notice I gave you to invite you on the show?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was about like Thursday too.
Yeah, I had you up. Oh, was it 2 weeks ago?
No, last week.
I had you fill in for me.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was busy in Nashville.
Rutherford issues.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
Brian. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what'd y'all talk about?
We talked about Jefferson Pike. We talked about Jefferson Pike a lot. We
Yep.
talked about how really I guess the landfill had affected Jefferson
Yeah.
Pike. My dealings with them being on the Highway Commission over the
You're kind of
last several
passionate
years.
about that. You don't want to get into landfill night, do you?
No, not
Man, it's so
really.
controversial.
Oh my goodness.
Mike,
Mount
he's already getting into
Trashmore.
it.
Mount
It's
Trashmore.
just so controversial. Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to? This is therapy.
I will, only
Because you know you've had butthurt over the landfill for how many years?
Oh gosh, well, the last 23 years I've been on there when I
Yeah.
first got
Well,
elected.
you've been passionate about it. I'm serious, so I know you've got a lot of. And I didn't have you up here to talk about landfill. I just
I
happened
understand.
to see you on TV talking passionate about it.
Oh yeah, it just my main dealings with it, Mike, has just been the road,
Yeah.
and Jefferson Pike right there being a state route, and I've been on the County Highway Commission. Didn't have a lot of teeth, but over the
Yeah.
years, Representative Joe Carr, when he was a rep of District 48 back years ago, and then since you've been state representative, I've had you come there, and we met there and try to try to talk to them, clean up Jefferson Pike, and that's just been an ongoing issue.
Well, I
man.
appreciate your efforts. I mean, I didn't really want to get into that issue,
Right.
but I mean, since you brought it up, I mean, it's I talk about, and I really didn't, but I did hear the debate with Mayor Carr and the other guy. I forgot the guy's name. with Republic.
Yeah, Mike is his first name.
Watch your debate.
Okay.
He seemed like a nice guy.
Right.
And but you know the commission. I know it's a big issue for the people that live out there, and
Absolutely.
the water quality in our
and then also that
drinking water.
Yeah, and it also affects city of Murfreesboro as well, because
Yeah.
that's where their intake is right there.
Yeah.
So
Well, I remember you called me. I talk about strange coincidences, and I'm sure everyone's had them happen in their life. It's almost like synchronicity. Meaningful coincidences is what the late Dr. Carl Jung had coined the term synchronicity. He said there are meaningful coincidences, and you called me, and you'd stay on me. I mean, this guy is, what do you say, like a hen on a June bug? Is that what y'all say in Walter Hill?
and glass castles or
Well,
whatever.
that's y'all say something like that.
Yeah.
And you called me, and you said, "Man, they're now cleaning up the road out here." And I was vice chairman of transportation time, and I thought I'm just going to drive out there. I went down Jefferson Pike, and one of the most dangerous roads in Rutherford County. And then thankfully we're all right in it. And I come up on an accident, and I know I've shared this on the radio. But first I talked to the street sweeper. I didn't know what was going on. I just seen a street sweeper, and I pulled up beside him. I said, "Hey, how often you out here clean this road up?" And he says, I thought he said daily except the weekends. Is that right?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about every
Well,
day.
that's what he told me. And I said, "Well, hey, what's going on with the truck across the street?" There was a truck there, and I knew something had happened because there was a big hole in the windshield. So I knew something was going on. And I was like, "Hey, man, what's up with that truck over?" And it was about, I don't know, 100, maybe 100 yards away. And he goes, "I don't know." He said, "But you can talk to that guy in that green vest, one of the managers." So I pulled over there, and I got out of my car, and I went to walk up to the manager to talk about the road, you know. And then this guy hollers at me, and the guy says, he goes, "Mike Sparks." And it was a guy I knew from high school.
Yep.
And I remember he was a baseball player, Greg something. And I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And man, he had a cut on his neck, and the rock. I said, "Man, what happened?" He said, "Man, I was driving down Jefferson Pike." He said, "A big truck come across there, and I guess he closed the curtain a little late, and the rock fell off the truck, went through his windshield, hit his dash, hit the steering wheel, tore up the dash, bent the steering wheel, grazed his neck."
Wow.
Went out the back window, and they couldn't find the rock. I was like, "Hey, where's the rock at?" They couldn't find the rock. And I called Jimmy Hart, Daily News Journal, and I was like, "Dude, here's a story." And it's out there online. Somebody, Greg, maybe somebody could text me and help me on it. He was a baseball player at Smyrna High School. And I thought, boy, if that rock would have landed a quarter inch closer, he could have bled out on the scene and died. But one thing I got to give, I don't know if it was Republic or who, but they took care of it. They took care of his truck. They fixed everything back, and they had it on camera. They seen it on camera. So got to give credit to them. They took care of it. But it was just weird that I was there, and then I get back to the transportation meeting, which was a couple hours later, and I was telling the TDOT commissioner, I was like, "Man, y'all ain't gonna believe what I seen today." Talking about that incident, you know.
Yeah, it's just been a ongoing thing for the last 20 odd years, Mike. And you know, just to be honest with you, not get too deep into it, you know, and I don't know what the management is going to be like there or is there now, but I just know over the 20 plus years I've been dealing with them, they have not been good neighbors, and they have not been very good to work with.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of been, you know, they're a billions of dollar corporation.
Yeah.
And every time I did meet with them, you know, it was like they may give me time to meet with me, but they always took that attitude of, "Hey, we appreciate you coming by, but we're going to do what we want to do and have a nice day." And that's what they've done.
They're kind of in check right now, ain't they?
What's that now?
They're kind of in check.
Oh, they
right
are.
now.
Absolutely. Well,
You know.
they want to. Their time's running out.
Yeah.
So you know.
Well, I know you've been. I watch you speak, and others is passionate about the issue. But you know, I was kidding. We did a little Facebook Live. You know, you chairman of the beer board, and
Yes, sir.
you and I went after some dope dealers back in the day, didn't we?
We did. You know, we had
We
a,
knocked double hockey sticks out of one guy.
Oh, wow.
You know, tell the audience how we got this dude. He was
Well,
selling Miley's and
Yeah, we
synthetic weed to
yeah,
kids.
they were selling a lot of a lot of the synthetic drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I had I retired from the fire department, but I had never really had a lot of experience with synthetic drugs, and I started seeing a little bit of it
Yeah.
through my work. And so lo and behold, as we got to investigating things, a lot of these little markets, they were selling all these synthetic
Yeah.
drugs, and they were selling them to really teenage kids.
Yeah.
Anybody would
Sad.
had a dollar bill.
Yep.
And so anyway, we researched and kind of found out, even through a beer board and their beer license, that if they were involved in any kind of illegal
Yep.
activity, we could go after them in that avenue, and that's what we did. And,
Who was that guy that I didn't really know him, but he made the comment in the committee, and he's since passed. What was his name?
Mike Avery. Yeah,
Mike
I
Avery?
served with him a long time on the beer board, and a lot of these people, they were saying they didn't understand the laws, this, that, and the other. And I remember during that meeting when we took those permits, I remember he laid out like a $20 bill, 10, a 5, and 1, and he went down there and said, "Can you tell me what this is? 20, a 10." He said, "So in other words, you're telling me you understand the money.
Yeah.
You're trying to say you don't understand everything else, right?" So anyway,
Yeah, that was
he
good.
definitely made his point. It was for them. It was all about the money.
Yeah. He grew up, Mike Avery, you say?
Mike Avery,
Yeah.
he was a local business person here,
Yeah.
born and raised here. But yeah, he's since
You ever see
passed.
his family?
I had seen his wife some. Yes,
Well, you
over the
tell
years.
his wife I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good one.
Yeah, I talk about, again, strange coincidences, God wink moments. I was upset because one of my kids got involved in this stuff, man. It was putting them out of their mind. And anybody listening, if they had a cousin or a family member got involved in this stuff, it was really bad. And I went after the guy that we were talking about, and I told him, I said, "Dude, I'm going to be the biggest a-hole in your life. I'm going to get your sorry ASS because you sold dope to the wrong kid." He was keeping kids' driver's licenses.
Oh yeah, it was.
This is how bad it was, so addictive.
It got really bad.
And I didn't know how to fight the battle, man. The Lord will line things up. I've seen it happen, and I called a sheriff's detective, and I said, "Man, what?" Because the cop didn't. When I called the cops didn't know what synthetic drugs were. It's a true story.
Yeah.
The cops, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, Poison Control Center calls had escalated 1,300%, and I was like, "Man, you don't know about synthetic drugs?" And I was like, "No wonder we got these problems." And the guy changed his story. The market owner changed his story, and now, 10 years ago, I would have called his name out, but today I'm a forgiving guy as a Christian. You got to move on. You got to forgive. So I don't forget, but I do forgive. And I thought, and the guy changed his story to the officer. He told me one thing. He told the officer something totally different. And I called a detective at the county sheriff's department, and the guy says, "Hey," I said, "Man, what are y'all doing about this stuff? Stuff's like out of control." He said, "Hey, let me have a guy call you." Man, I was so alone, dude. You ever been real alone by yourself on issues? Just alone. Connor, you ever been alone? Look at me, give me this look like what? But I was so alone. Me and my wife were fighting over my child, man. And I was like, but I kept praying. And I called the sheriff's detective, and he says, "Man, let me have somebody call you." And the dude calls me, Trey King. Trey, if you're listening, I hope you don't mind me giving you a shout out. But Trey says he's with the Attorney General's office. He says, "Representative," he said, "I'm probably not supposed to tell you this, but we picked your county out of 95 counties." He said, "You just hold tight." And I was sitting with my stepfather, who's now passed, good Christian man, who was a state investigator years ago for the Board of Pharmacy. And he called me. I think he felt sorry for me because he knew I was going through. He called back again. He goes, "Hey, just want to let you know, we got him again." Then he called me back another time. He's like, "Representative, we got him again." And then they were doing this undercover investigation. And when that Operation Snuff played out, is that what they call it? Operation Snuff? I think that's what it's called.
Something like that.
And it was cool. They hit like 12 markets. But,
oh yeah,
it's just sad, the drug problem that we've got today. But then you stepped up, and Jeff Peach stepped up, and Town of Smyrna stepped up, and others stepped up to help and started pulling these guys' beer licenses got one, a year? This dude I'm talking about got hit for a whole year.
Yeah, well, most of them, Mike, that we did, as far as us for the permits, we pulled them permanently. Now,
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and some of them were able to circumvent that. sold a market to a family member or whatever, so then they could apply. But yeah, we took those permits permanently.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, you're passionate about the community, passionate about, you grew up here, you care about these young people, and I would share the story about Jeff Peach giving me marriage advice, but I won't. And that was really funny. Anyways, he told me, he said, "Trust me, I'm an expert." I was like, okay. Anybody knows Jeff? Is he an expert? Maybe he is an expert. But anyway, his dad's my Sunday school teacher, Dick Peach.
Oh yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but real quick, I'll just say I appreciate it, and Mike didn't pay me too much to say this. So.
Just a little bit.
But anyway, I got to know Mike, known him a long time. Got to meet Mike several years ago when he was on the county commission, and we've done a lot of things together. And then since he's become the state representative, but one thing I'll say about Mike, what I've always liked about him, especially when he was county commissioner, especially since he took it to another level, being a state rep. Man, he. I like Mike. He fights for the common everyday person. Does a lot of things that you're going to see in your community. That's what I like about you, Mike.
I'm gonna
a
get
lot
choked
of
up.
people are on.
I'm gonna get emotional.
Well, a lot of people are doing things that are maybe benefit corporations or bigger things, but man, I know you always do things that.
It's lonely.
Well, how you
Really? It's lonely.
Well, it can be, but man, long as you're doing the right thing.
Well, I think when you get older, you start, as a Christian, you start seeing how God intervenes in our lives. I mean, I noticed it when I was younger, but when you start getting older, then it starts, because all the trials, well, there's a scripture, is it Romans? Come on, Jeremy, help me. Romans, trials and tribulations build perseverance and builds character.
Yeah, I'll find that for you.
And but it's true. I mean, Rogers went through a tough time. He's lost a child, and I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, sometimes sticking up
losing
and standing
somebody.
up and doing the right thing sometimes ain't the most popular thing.
No.
And sometimes you are.
It's
standing
lonely.
alone. Yeah, it can be very lonely. But hey, I've always been at the thing. I've always told you, hey man, I got to lay my head down at night time.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do the right thing.
Well, life is really short. If you think about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, how old a fellow are you now?
I'm 61.
61. The because I got you on video. It's a pretty cool video. I got his last day on the job. I had to do a story for my TV news class at MTSU, and I knew he was retiring, and I was like, man, that'd make a cool story. And got you. It's on YouTube. Would it be Murfreesboro Fire Department, Keith Bratcher?
I think that's where it is, something like that. Mm-hmm.
Wonder if-
It is. But it was
wonder if
it
we
was my
could
last
play
day
it.
on the job.
Was you on the site out there when you was talking to him?
Yeah, I videoed.
I seen it.
Yeah, it was at the station. Yeah, man. Some guys were inside, and they said, "Hey, Keith looked like some newspaper pulling up or something." I said, "Probably want to interview you about a past, fire or something." Yeah, can I get out of this mic, man?
Yeah. How did I do that? Did I just surprise you?
Yeah.
It's called a cold call.
Camera?
So.
Yeah, man.
There's your last day on
It
the
happened to
job.
work out. The guys had the fire truck pulled out, washing it, supposedly whatever. So anyway, hey,
It worked out, man.
Yeah, it worked out.
My
great,
my
man.
professor liked it.
Oh,
He thought it was cool.
Yeah, man, it was
What's
really
that?
cool.
What's that scripture?
Yeah, that's
Pre-doc.
Romans. That's Romans 5:3-5.
So what does it say?
3-5. Well, let me find. Let me
I
pull
thought
it
you were
up.
going to get it, man.
I was looking for it. Oh, here we go. And not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience, so on and so forth.
Well, and the battles you go through
Yep.
I think it does build perseverance and conviction, and then you have hope because you're like, God fought this battle. He's going to fight this battle. He fought the other battle. He fought the other battle. He's going to fight this battle, and but I think that's why God allows us to go through pain and suffering. Absolutely. Like the things you've seen as a firefighter, I couldn't imagine what you've been through. How do y'all cope?
Well, I tell you, Mike, it's kind of tough. I was the captain there, and I know when I was younger, when I was a firefighter, when I was an engineer, sometimes, had some captains maybe didn't know how to deal with that. But as I got older, and when I got promoted, when we'd have a bad incident, I'd always get the guys back to the station, and we talk about it.
Yeah.
That's the best thing. A lot of times things happen, we just talk about it. And I tell my guys, hey, if you need to talk to me, on our days off or just whatever. And we had in our later years, we developed a chaplain at the fire
Yeah.
department. Yeah.
Who was, because we had him on the radio, didn't we?
Yeah, Lee Douglas was.
Was it Lee that was on with us?
Terry Smith.
Terry, it was Terry.
Yeah, he was one. He was a shift chaplain. So we had developed some, different resources like that
Yeah.
for people to talk to. So the best thing for me was to talk about it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, men, we isolate, stay to ourselves, don't talk about that kind of stuff.
and I say with post-traumatic stress disorder, a lot of that came out being post-traumatic stress disorder with the military. In which, I don't take anything away from the military. They get deployed for a year or two at a time and see some bad stuff. But I try to tell people that firefighters, police officers, EMS, they have a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder because they continuously see this day after day, year after year.
So can I kind of tell you a neat firefighter story, though? This is pretty cool. We do what they call Toddler Tuesday over at Sam Davis Home, the 1 through 4 year olds. Well, they had the fire department over one day, and they had the guy fully dressed, helmet, mask, and all. And what it was, so kids, they said they went to a fire once, and there's a couple little kids that scared them. They wouldn't come to them, and they died. And so they did this thing to show that, hey, I'm just a person, and showing them, and I thought that was really a cool little educational thing,
Yeah, we did that a lot, like during fire prevention. We go to schools and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd always have one of my guys dress up in his full uniform.
Right.
Breathing, because that thing kind of like Darth Vader, And so we would, he'd get on one knee and let the kids come touch him and stuff. So we'd always say, hey, if you have a fire in your house or something, you see this guy coming towards you, don't run from him, run to him.
Right.
So, it can be, it can kind of be a little overwhelming if you've seen this guy coming to you in a situation like that. So, that's a good teaching technique.
Oh, it really is. I thought that was awesome when they did that.
Absolutely.
We were talking when I first got approached on that bill. Who was y'all's former union captain? Mark McCluskey. Not Mark. Was it Mark McCluskey?
The union what now?
Rep that used to come up the Capitol. And
probably Eddie Mitchell.
Eddie.
Yeah, and then after that, after Eddie I was, but
Okay.
Eddie Mitchell for a bunch of
Well, I
years.
remember y'all coming up years ago, and they said military, and I'll be honest with you, I was like you. I thought, what? I mean, military, and I thought, man, Then I started thinking about my father, who was in World War II and seen a lot of combat. He probably had a lot of post-traumatic stress. He was just very difficult, man. He married 5 times, and then I started hearing y'all stories, and man, y'all share some stories that were like, bad. I'm like the one,
No, don't go into
well,
much.
it's,
I know.
the one that got, well, I mean, I don't mean to be grotesque or anything on the radio, but the guy that jumped off 840.
Oh. Yep.
Man.
Yep. I made that call, Mike. You just kind of wonder what, he really, my thing when I seen this situation was, I just hit me, what was really going, what was so bad?
What happened?
Well, what was so
How
bad?
could you have intervened?
Right, yeah.
Could he have made a phone call? Is there?
Right. What was so bad for him that he thought he had to take his life like that, So,
you want to tell what he did?
Well, I can briefly hit it. We got a call that there was possibly a possible suicide, 840 in Broad Street. So that time I was stationed on Thompson Lane.
Yeah.
And we make that call and we get there, and as that overpass is right there, he had pulled on that overpass, parked his vehicle, tied a rope to his bumper, and one around his neck. But what had happened was the rope was too long, so he winds up hitting the street. But anyway, we get there, and it's just a bad situation, bad. So, but I just when we get calls like that, makes me just wondering, golly, how could I intervene, and what was so bad to make someone want to take their life like that?
That one call about the boy that left the note out. We won't go into detail on that, but that was
the last bad call I made, and I decided
because you personally you've seen that.
Yeah,
you've seen what happened.
Yeah, that was the last bad call I made, Mike, and after that shift, that's when I decided I am out of here.
But you did that for 30 years, man.
Yeah, I said I'm out of here. It was just, I'll briefly go over it. It was a young man. It was 22 years old, and he had been to college. He was going to be a veterinarian, and he was working at a vet's. here doing his residential whatever. But anyway, he had left a note for his sister not to come upstairs, and anyway, he had went into the bathroom. He'd taken his own life, and it's just bad, you know. So anyway, I was like, you know what, I done seen enough of this. So that was my last call like that. I said, I'm not doing it anymore.
You know, we had a prayer event. Mayor Cole put a prayer event together, and Laverne and Steve, Steve Noe, and Vice Mayor Steve Noe, and them, they put a big event together. Good guy, and both of them, and it was Brenda Bryant, Pastor Brenda Bryant, and John DeBerry was there, Senior Advisor to Governor Bill Lee, and I said a few words, and we had a lot of firefighters there, because you were there, you were there.
Oh yeah.
And I told the firefighters, look to your right, look to your left, and I said, look at your fellow firefighters. I said, odds are, statistics prove this, that you won't be killed in line of duty. You'll take your own life. I mean, that's the stats that's out there. That to me was extremely alarming to hear that a firefighter more likely to take their own life than be killed in line of duty.
Yeah, that's probably true, Mike.
And it probably applies to police officers as well.
Oh yeah, and EMS workers, they get forgotten about because man, they making those medical. They're right there with us too, making those calls and working on those people. And it's and of course everybody said, well, Keith, I mean, you chose that, and I understand that. I chose that line of work. The reason I did, I just couldn't imagine myself doing anything else.
Yeah, but you still loved in the camaraderie with firefighter friends.
Yeah, you got to love that job.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
I mean, we make those bad calls like that, but I mean, I like going out doing the fire prevention part of it and spend time at schools with kids, and it's a lot of other good aspects of it when there was good outcomes of things. When you did show up and help somebody. Or
who was the and the chaplain again that we had on the radio?
Terry Smith.
It was.
Yeah, he's since retired.
Well, I and great guy, and I thought it was kind of funny in a way. At break, we were going to come back from break, and I was like, "Hey, do y'all want to talk about the high divorce rate of firefighters?" And y'all both like, "No, let's don't talk about it." I thought it was funny. I mean, maybe I got a weird sense of humor, but y'all was like, "No, let's don't talk about it," But my dad was married 5 times, and it was probably due to combat and seeing because he was on the B-17s when the B-17 was shot when it went down, a lot of the men couldn't get out, and he was shot down, and he was able to get out, fortunately. But I think just seeing that and affected him. But when y'all first approached me, my logic had always been, and Roger probably the same way, is you got to suck it up, man. You got to move on, pull yourself up, probably bootstraps, and get over it. But what do you say to that type? Because that's what my dad would have said. And Roger's dad probably would have been the same way, I'm guessing.
Well, I know, a lot of times we kind of grows up, how you fall, or scrape your knee, rub a little dirt on it.
Yeah.
Well, but, with that right there, Mike, you can't rub a little dirt on it. You really got to talk to people. Sometimes firefighters and stuff like that, they need to talk to a professional. And there's no shame in that, But, with that, firefighters and I'll say firefighters, police officers, especially EMS, the guys that work those 24-hour, 48 stuff, not only do they see all that, they give up a lot. Yeah. And over the years, man, I worked a lot of Christmases, a lot of Thanksgivings, a lot of birthdays, anniversaries. So, you give up a lot, you miss a lot. I miss a lot of ball games and just, you really miss a lot to be able to do what you do.
Did y'all ever have a firefighter that was difficult to work with?
Oh yeah, you have.
Dale,
it's everywhere.
Was Dale one of them? Was Dale one of them? No.
What about Gary Farley? How's Gary Farley working?
Oh, Gary was a good one. Yeah, Jack Black was a good one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All good guys.
You were on with me when we did that proclamation for Gary.
That's right.
Yeah, that was about a year ago, wasn't it?
It was.
Jim Tracy.
Had Ken Honeycutt.
That was cool. That was really cool, though.
Yeah.
And Gary, if Gary's listening, I hope he don't get mad. Gary got a little emotional.
Yeah, he did, and but Gary's a good guy. He, after he retired, he probably had about 30+ years at Murfreesboro. Then he went on to work at the State Fire Marshal's office. I don't know how many years he had there, but Gary,
he helped me out. I had a couple concerns in the community, and Gary did what he could do to try to help some of these situations. But no, Gary he couldn't come to the station, and Jim Tracy was here, so I had this surprise proclamation, honors retirement. I had just you and
you had Jim Tracy,
Honeycutt. Was it Honeycutt?
Yeah,
Cunningham.
Ken Honeycutt.
Ken Honeycutt. Who
Yeah.
was the other guy that was with us? Because he worked with y'all for like 30 years.
Yeah, I know Ken Honeycutt was here, myself, and
I think he was in Vietnam. I think he had to go to Vietnam or something.
yeah, I can't remember right off.
Because we had great conversation in the parking lot, but Gary didn't know what we were doing, and and y'all were all quiet. And then Jim's like, "Hey, I got somebody who wants to say something," and I was like, "Hey, Gary," he said, "This is Mike." I said, "Man, I wanted to recognize you, but we were so busy, we couldn't do it at the Capitol. There's just so much going on." And I started reading off the proclamation. Man, it was pretty good. And then all of a sudden, those guys that he worked with for 30 years started talking, and that was really cool.
Oh yeah, and then Ken Honeycutt's son, he's the one that came. One of them that came one time. We were at the
Nashville,
Capitol.
yep.
And you asked the question about, hey, when all this is going on with you, or you having a bad time, who do you lean on? Who do you talk to? And he said, well, he told you, hey, I call my mama.
Man, I'm gonna tell you that about got to me.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
hey, I feel him. If
I
I could
wouldn't
call my
expect
mother,
him
I would have.
call
as
his
I got older.
mom.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. Yeah. Who would have thought a firefighter would say that?
Yeah, I tell you. But he talking about Ben. I seen him when he came in the door as a firefighter. But that young man has since he made captain here.
Oh, good.
Yeah, about 6 months ago.
Now that's Ben.
That's Ken Honeycutt's son.
Ken Honeycutt's son.
Yeah, and he was the fire marshal for fire department for numerous years.
And then the one I usually see, there's Mike, and then is it Brian was in my office here a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, you probably seen Mike Adams.
No, Mike didn't make it, but
Okay.
there was other guy, and I probably saved him on my phone. Was it Brian, or Tyler? Anyways,
None of those
he
names ring a
come
bell
up
with
the
me.
other day
They could
and
be
seen me.
news.
Man, I wish I could remember names. I'm terrible with names.
Matter of fact, I just went around to some fire stations about 2 or 3 days ago, Mike, and I tell you, man, I did not. Unless they were a captain, I didn't know them.
Really?
The drivers and the firefighters. I mean, I didn't know them.
Because I did
and
a face.
Murfreesboro's probably, man, it's probably right now. They were saying it's the youngest it's been. When I say that, as far as older, experienced people there, is probably.
Man, I wish I had
5
this
years
guy's
or less.
name.
Lot
Because he
of
goes to Experience Church. I wish I had his name. Can't think of it. But Mike's always cool to deal with as well.
Oh yeah, Mike Adams been there a long time. Yeah, he's a good one.
And y'all's chief, Mark
McCluskey.
Yeah, Mark's always good.
Yeah, me and Mark.
Always good to deal
he's
with.
still
Now,
there.
is that your cousin? Aren't you kin to him or something?
No, but me and Mark, we started. He started in February.
No, he's kin to Chris Rowland.
That's correct.
That's right.
Their
All right.
their mothers are sisters.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew he's kin to somebody.
Mark started in February. I started in June, so we started with a few months of each other. So
You don't know me, Roger.
Mark, he just celebrated 40 years there. 40 years.
Really?
Yeah.
40 years.
40 years.
Wow. That's
In
a long
February,
time.
he celebrated being there 40 years.
Wow.
What did he
That's-
start when he was like 21 or something?
He was right out of high school. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
about 18 years old. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I had a campaign guy that was helping me, and the firefighters always been supportive, and this kid, he's like 21, 22, and it was pretty smart. He goes, it's really good that you got their help, got their endorsement. He says, everybody loves firefighters. He goes, not everybody loves cops. Not everybody loves this other, but they love firefighters. And I thought, man, that's pretty. You think about it, nobody's hating on firefighters. I haven't heard anybody hating.
Yeah, well, a lot of times,
nobody
Mike,
says defund the fire department. You know what I mean?
well, I think police officers get, they get a bad rap.
Oh, it's a
lot of
tough
times.
job. Ain't no
Yeah,
doubt.
but a lot of times, police officers, if people look at mine, if they come to get you, or they're coming showing up, you're going to jail. But that's not all.
If y'all show up, you're putting out a fire, right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
on
Or we're
fire.
there, they feel like firefighters there to help you, or
Yeah.
do something. So
Y'all ever
yep.
got any cats out of trees or anything?
Well, I guess they probably still do. I've done it a bunch of times over my career.
For real?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're there to serve the public.
Really? What? I seen there was a video out
I went and
there.
got Fluffy out of the tree many a
I've
time.
seen there's a video going around. You've got young guys have probably seen it, and somebody's like, "Hey, help me get my kitten out." And the cop walks over and pow, pow, pow. The cat falls down, and the whole crowd. It's a fake. It's a fake video, but the people are stunned. It's just a little cat gun. They really didn't shoot the cat, but it is one of the funniest videos out there. Have y'all seen the one where the guy he's talking about traffic accidents in Atlanta? Have y'all not seen that? Traffic accident in Atlanta. And
there's a lot of traffic
just
accidents in
Google,
Atlanta.
just go to YouTube, type in Facebook or what would it be, Facebook or traffic accidents in downtown Atlanta, and it's an African American guy, and there's like this little bitty fender bender, just barely touches him, and people are like laying all out in the car and falling down, and he's like, man, they hit him. He's like, y'all hit me, and they're faking all these injuries. Anyways,
what's the old saying when they hit you in the tail end? That's a $20,000 payment. That's what.
Yeah. We well, we're gonna
I got it.
you want to yeah, we got that big car show coming up. I want to get that in there before we lose a train of thought on it.
Okay, let me get my glasses on here. Pull that up. Yeah, what we have, it's going to be going on May the 17th at the Smyrna VFW. It's a cruise-in. And now, Mike, it's not like a car show. It's a cruise-in. But it's presented by Rolling Thunder and the Mid-10 Hot Rodders. And like I said, it's going to be from 10 to 6 o'clock. And it's 10157 on Nashville Highway. That's in Smyrna. Rain date is June the 17th. VFW be cooking hamburgers, and we're going to have a band, a raffle, and there's actually going to be an award, but it's for a good cause, man. If you know what these Rolling Thunder guys do, you had them on a couple weeks ago. They'll help, veterans, maybe can't pay his electric bill, maybe take them to the grocery store, the doctor. And like I said, the guys are doing it. They're, they can't even really. One's riding a 3.
Yeah, these guys they're aging
getting older
out, man.
now. Yeah, but it really is a good cause. So if you can get by there and make some kind of donation, and that would really help these guys out.
No, they're not doing a yard sale, nothing like that. I mean,
well, I see one going over at the VFW. I don't know as far as Rolling Thunder, but this is actually for Rolling Thunder.
Okay.
Yes,
And then the car show folks are partner with them.
Yeah, it's a cruise-in. It's not like a car show. It's not going to be like, you pay to get in there. If it's a cruise.
Who's your folks with the car show?
Well, it's Mid-10 Hot Rodders. That'd be Christy Pugh and Michael Morton and Tracy Morton, his wife.
Yep.
And there's a few others.
Who's the little girl that won the toolbox at our chili cook-off?
Oh, that was Christy's daughter. Yeah, that big old toolbox. That was nice.
Yeah, man, that was perfect.
Well, they said it's going to be a makeup thing.
Because she rides don't she ride a dirt bike?
I'm not sure, but she's actually big in this gymnastics stuff. She goes all over the place.
I thought she rode a dirt bike. But
She could do that too. She could.
I thought it was cool that a little girl won it, and she was going to use it as a makeup drawer.
Right. And I asked him, I said, was that a joke? And I said, no, that she uses that to make a makeup drawer.
Don't she have a big event at Sam Davis home or graduation?
Oh, that is, well, I don't know how. Yeah, it is. I'm not sure exactly when that is. It's a graduation party, but she's going to be down at the Creek House. I'm not sure on that.
That's cool.
Christy'd have to talk about that on the radio. But
I think she's going to come up next couple weeks because they reached out to me. Christy did, and I call it another God wink moment. And she texts me about Freddie Hahn, my friend that was killed in Iraq.
Yeah,
and the truck I sold Freddie before he was deployed. A lot of folks know the story. My mother happened to hear him say. He told me, Mike, I need a truck. I've been deployed to Iraq, and I happen to have a beautiful GMC extended cab, and my mother was there. My mom, she's passed, and she said, son, can I pray with you? And sadly, he lost his life. But the grandfather, Freddie's dad, gave Spencer, the son, the truck back in December. So, he's since painted it and done some things. So I think what she said, let's do something in memory of Freddie Hahn. And that was really touching because, the road's named after him, at Steak and Shake, not the other name. What name you call it?
Shake and Bake.
Shake and Bake, Steak Shake. I think Connor's got this video played up. I want to play this. I'm kind of proud of this video. This is from my TV news class. When you retired, go ahead and play it, Connor.
It's not going to be okay. I thought it was going to be.
Go ahead.
That's my name.
Fire department in 1985. I was promoted to driver in 1990. it's kind of a bittersweet thing. You're doing something that's really been part of your life for 34 years. Yeah. About all your life.
Tell us about your last day, man. Last day. I'm videoing you now. What does it feel like when you last night?
It's like I said, it's kind of a mixed feeling.
All right, do your imitation now. Come on now, let's see your imitation.
They said back at 34 years is long enough.
For a little while, I think I'm going to just kind of take it easy for a little bit, maybe do a little traveling, just not do anything for a little while. Then have married, have a grown son, 34 years old, have 5 grandchildren. And I have 5 grandchildren. I have 3 grandsons and 2 granddaughters. The oldest one's 13, youngest one's 3.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You'll be spending a lot of time with them?
I will be. Yeah, I'll be spending more time with them, absolutely.
I think I got to be in that class for doing that. But anyways, I thought it was a cool story. And another story I pitched, we had to come up with a story. And another one was parking tickets at MTSU. Anybody that's been to MTSU get a lot of parking tickets. And my professor, he was like, Dan Eschenfelder. Y'all know Dan, don't you?
Yeah.
Dan's a great guy.
Yeah.
And he says
his wife, Christine, she was an awesome professor.
Oh,
so.
she's a sweetheart. And he says, well, how does this make a news story? I said, dude, it's the summertime. There's plenty of parking tickets. Why they want to write parking tickets? There's plenty of parking spaces. You see what I'm saying? We've missed the forest for the trees. And that was just, I done a little light story on that because anybody who's been a student at MTSU, you got tickets. Y'all got any tickets?
No.
You ever got one, Mike?
You never got a ticket?
No.
Yeah.
I got one in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got a few back in the day.
Oh, I'm talking MTSU.
Yeah, when I was a cap, when I was at the fire department, when I became captain, I tell you one of my pet peeves was when we would go to commercial places and people would be parked in the fire lane. Oh my gosh! Yeah.
You bust a window out and just push your hose right through their car.
Yeah.
No, I just most time we had some people got kind of rowdy, but most time I would just
people meaning firefighters.
No, just the people when you try to explain to them they can't be parking there. They want.
What do you mean I can't be parking here?
Right, and but anyway, most time I was just pretty passionate about just hey, you mind moving, not doing it. But I tell you,
yeah, but I bet if you pulled up in a fire truck at MTSU, they'll write you a ticket.
Oh,
it's bad. It's really bad. Seriously.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not kidding you.
Well, Mike, you ever got a ticket?
I got a lot of tickets over there.
Okay. We're talking about MTSU.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would tell you the one story that the girl I had to pay the parking ticket to. We used to hang out and went to church together. Anyways, it was funny,
Yeah.
So I was off guard. I'll tell you after the show. Anyways, that was another
I've been over
$35, and man, they get you coming, they get you going.
Hey, Mike, I got a few more announcements. I was looking that up. You was talking about Christy's daughter. She said she's wanted to share her girls' graduation party invitation for anyone who would like to come. Well, it's on the radio, so a lot of people may be coming. So, anyway, it's going to be at the Creek House, May the 24th at Sam Davis Road, where I work. And it's from 2 to 6 o'clock, and I believe they're going to have a taco bar there.
Taco bar?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So that'd be pretty cool.
Yep.
And they got the one more coming up at the Steak and Shake, or Shake and Bake.
Yep.
The Shake and Bake, they got it coming up, and it's April the, let me find the calendar. Hold on. Fill it in, Mike. Talk about something.
Okay. What about that weather? Is it going to get bad tonight, Keith?
They say it's
I think it is.
Pretty bad weather.
It's going to get bad, Jeremy?
I think so. I never got a ticket at MTSU because I didn't park on campus because I always biked in because I lived right near campus. So
yeah.
Didn't you have a deal if you didn't pay? You didn't pay them. You didn't graduate.
I paid him.
Jimmy had a
Tell him who we're talking about. You got to say his name, who he is.
Well, no.
You don't say his name?
No.
Because he's an elected official, right?
Yeah, right.
He don't want to say who it is.
But anyway, they're having, I believe, the big car show they're going to have at Sam Davis home. I mean, man, it's huge. It's the same weekend as a fish fry. Yeah. Is that the 13th, I think, or is that the 16th? It's that Saturday.
It's the fish fry?
Probably the 13th,
the Wings of Freedom fish fry.
Yeah, Jeremy shared on Facebook the other day.
Yeah, anyway, it's going to be.
they got shared? Oh.
I
Yeah,
think
it's-
because
yeah,
I think I shared it. Yeah, you had it on there.
But it's actually like from 9 to 4, and I think the Wings of Freedom fish fry is the same day, but it's at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the cars you see over at that Wings of Freedom comes from that. Will be coming from that car show. So it's all
That's
the
the
same
biggest
day.
event in Smyrna.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And what
But-
was
but
the second biggest
Your
event?
your chili cook-off.
Chili
though.
cook-off.
I
I
mean,
didn't
we,
say
had,
it.
we had 180
I
people.
didn't say it. Jenny Williams said it, and some other people said it. Anyways.
Hey, Roger, that's the 13th. So
13th, okay.
Yep,
Sa-
13th.
it's
Yep.
Saturday the 13th? Okay.
Yep.
September 13th, okay.
Yeah, great event.
Oh, yeah.
And Paul Land been very instrumental. Wayne Blair and several others. We've raised about $2.2 million. Zero taxpayer money involved in that. See, that's the power of unity, folks coming together.
Absolutely.
The Rotary gear is a symbol for unity, working together. But man, I tell you, I see so much difficulty today in government, people not wanting to work together. It's terrible. But anyway, speaking of people that difficult, I think we got a caller. Go ahead, caller. Caller, how you doing?
Marty.
Hey, man.
Hey, Marty.
What's going on?
I've been listening to y'all and enjoying the show today.
Speaking of difficult
Well,
people.
Mike, I've got a complaint.
Oh,
yeah, I do. I got a complaint. I don't know how the state of Tennessee decided to raise the interest rates for people buying cars, on token notes and stuff. I just can't understand it, and it really irritated me. It really bothered me.
Oh, you talking about one of them cash things?
Yeah,
Cash?
you're talking about the predatory lending. Yeah, that was unfortunate. They raise interest rates. A lot of people don't know this. The media's not going to tell you because the media's in on it. The media sells ads, so the media doesn't care that the poor, these loan sharks, predatory lenders are charging more interest. They raise it last week, and you may see a little blurb in the media, but for the most part, they're not going to cover it because they're in on it. They're making money. Yeah. And I know it sounds like I'm being conspiratorial, but I promise you, they're all in on it. And it's sad because it does. We're supposed to be conservatives, and
people that really hurt the worst, the ones to get hurt even worse.
It's going opposite of what Doge and Trump and Musk is trying to do. They're, whether you like them or not, they're trying to lower interest rates and get this economy going. But unfortunately, some folks want to go the opposite way and raise interest rates on the predatory to help predatory lenders.
I mean, it was something astronomical, something like.
Well,
800%
it can be with all the fees, but they raised it from 24 to 30 a few years ago, and that's the guy that worked for the church.
Really?
Yeah, out in Cleveland, Kevin Brooks, that's his name, and they cut my mic off when I spoke about it. They really did. Yeah, I'm the only Republican got their mic cut off that I know of. Serious, I ain't trying to be funny.
I mean, you're the one. That means you're the one that's speaking up.
Well,
goes back
sad,
to Keith.
but here's the thing about it in life: we're all going to have to give an account. We all going to have to stand before God and give an account.
Yep.
And I'm a little frightened because hey, back before I got married, I was terrible back in the day. I mean, I wasn't selling drugs, nothing like that, but.
Well, you probably got thrown out of some insurance offices. Too.
Yeah, I got thrown out of his insurance company.
I bet.
Yeah. But we all
Get him out of here.
we're all going to have to give an account. And here's the thing about it: in my opinion, when you're a pastor, you're a bishop, you're a deacon, you're an elected official, you're held to such a greater responsibility. And I've seen the devastation this stuff does to the community. You know about the video I made. Folks want to see something funny, type into YouTube. Miss Helen.
Oh, yeah.
Predatory lending. That dude was trying to take her car.
He's going to make a few thousand off of that, too. See, people
They
don't
bait
get that.
you in, folks. Don't ever fall for this. Tell your kids, tell your grandkids, don't get involved in these title pawn, check into bankruptcy.
And do not
financial.
and do not co-sign on student loans.
Away. Yes. Well, the Bible speaks about that,
Yeah, get a bank loan. Don't get one of them Navins and all that stuff. Get a bank loan, fixed loan. Don't get tied into a, student loan. And especially if you co-sign to one and somebody in your family gets divorced and you get stuck with it. Oh yeah, that's what happens.
Well, Marty,
they don't have the big picture.
But I do appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah, I was just disappointed. Anyways, when folks get away from Christian values, I'm not saying you got to go to church to be a believer and to live a good life. I'm not saying that, but I think it does help. But man, I just see a lot of terrible stuff going on. I mean, this world, it's just, I worry about you worry about your grandkids?
Oh, yeah.
You worry about your grandkids?
And
kids?
great-grandkids.
Oh, absolutely.
Great.
You got
great
grandkids.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the world going to be like?
I know it's terrible. You know, talking about this predatory lending. You know, most of the people that's going to utilize that, you know, they're already struggling.
They're already hurt.
Yeah,
Exactly
And then,
right.
and
Well,
then,
see-
then you're just
Registered
doing this.
cash.
You're just burying them. Yeah, it's terrible.
But, where did y'all, think about life lessons. Where did you learn, like Marty and Roger, where did y'all learn key life lessons like that? Who taught you growing up?
Well, of course, my dad did.
Your dad?
Yeah. And like the son that don't have dads around.
That's what I'm
nowadays.
saying.
I hate to say it. I mean, I don't know if that's politically correct or whatever, but some don't have that guidance, and
Yep.
ones that usually do,
Yep.
you know, the
It's-
guys they know from right from wrong. I ain't
Yeah.
saying they don't do that, but they usually will know right
I've
from
got
wrong.
that fatherless bill this week, and some people may not think it's important, but not the stats are so alarming. Our prison budget has went from $900 million to, when I got elected, to $1.5 billion. That's $1,500 million. We're short 900 correctional officers. Think about this. We're down 900 correctional officers. And
Listen, guys, I got to say goodbye, okay?
all right, be good, Marty.
Take
Thanks
care,
for calling
Marty.
in.
Take care, Marty.
But the point I'm making, if you look at the stats of the fatherless, 90% of the guys in prison grew up in father's home. 90%.
And they started out, they're little innocent kids. And then, like I said, nobody's there. The street, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at all
Society.
races, not just a race, all races.
Yeah.
Society's there to shame.
I think we got another caller. Caller, go ahead. Hey, caller.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Chairman, how you doing?
Hey, I'm chairman. They got a new chairman now.
Oh, that's right. You're Chairman Emeritus.
Yeah, Chairman Emeritus. Hey, I just want to call you up, Mike. I know it's getting towards the end of the session.
Yep.
I wanted to personally thank you and the entire Rutherford delegation for working so hard for Rutherford County, specifically on one item. Learned today that, or not today, but last week, it's in pretty good shape, and that's this additional funding for Murfreesboro Airport. And it wouldn't be possible without you, Robert, Tim, Charlie, Brian, and Don and Shane, you know, always, you know, fighting a good fight for Rutherford County and all our municipalities. So we're one of 3 municipalities in the state that's going to get this potential additional airport funding. And it just wouldn't be possible without guys like you.
It's folks like you and your wife and other leaders in the community, whether it's Mayor Carr or county commissioners, that contact us to bring attention to serious issues. And I don't know the airport director at Murfreesboro. I know John Black's the former airport director. You know, they stay in touch with us. But it's just that rallying and staying on it and really bugging people. Like Keith, we're talking about widening Jefferson Pike. Keith was, what I say, like a hen on a June bug? Is that what y'all saying? I mean, he just stays on it. You know, sometimes I see his phone like, dang, there's no Keith Pratchett call. You know, but that you have to really be that way to get it done. And I know you're very persistent on trying to help the community. So hats off to y'all for helping.
Well, I just wanted to publicly say that on the radio. We said it at council Thursday night, but, you know, I wanted you to hear it and others to hear it as well. And I'm glad that Keith was nice to you this evening.
Yeah, he was. I gave him like, an hour notice. I mean, he'll come on radio.
Yeah, hey, I want to say something real quick. We got you on the air, Austin. I know, of course, you know, being a retired firefighter with the city of Murfreesboro, I applaud you and all the city council and the mayor for, I know y'all have been really good. Even over the years when I was working there, the council's always been really good to the public safety people there and fire and police and stuff. And I know y'all have done a lot of good things for them here lately. So I just want to say I applaud you and the Murfreesboro City Council and the mayor for taking care of these guys.
I appreciate you saying that. It's, you know, I first got on council, that was a big concern of mine because we were short quite a few police officers, and basically fire was a training ground for the rest of the state. You know, we trained good firefighters, and they would, you know, take off and leave. And I was talking to Mark and also Chief Bowen, and we're about to be, I think for the first time in a long time, 100% on fire as well as police. And that's just a testimony to the council doing the right thing to make sure that we've got a competitive pay and competitive benefits. But the work isn't done yet. There's more we can do, and we need to keep having these discussions so that we don't get into that situation again.
And a lot of things. And one thing I want to mention real quick. A lot of people don't realize it. Murfreesboro Fire Department is a Class 1 fire department, and when I say that, the ISO which is the Insurance Service Office that regulates that, and so people say, well, what does that mean? Well, if you're in a city or somewhere that has a Class 5 fire department, let's say that, they're not going to be as well equipped, and plus that helps the citizens of that community in Murfreesboro on their homeowners insurance and stuff like that as well. So, and their taxes, and so having that Class 1 fire. I think for many years, I think Memphis at one time may have been a Class 1, but I think they've dropped to a Class 2. So, if somebody knows different, can correct me. But I want to think Murfreesboro is probably the only Class 1 fire department in the state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's no doubt, and you know, Keith, that's just due to, you know, first, you know, the funding for it, make sure they got the right equipment, but also there's an element called leadership. That, you know, if you've got good leaders and a good morale and a good culture, people aren't going to leave. And so that's great to see that we continue to do that. And you're absolutely right; it does help people on their insurance, and that's money back in our taxpayers and our homeowners.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Austin. Tell your lovely wife I said hello, and also thank you for that book you gave me about the 8th Air Force and the B-17s. God bless you for that.
I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Yes.
You know, so I hope you enjoyed it, Mike.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for what you do for our community, brother.
All right.
Thank
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Real quick, just a little bit of time. That fire, you see what happened with that amusement park in Aaron, Tennessee? Where they had to get those people down from that. Where did they have that truck, that fire truck that had that big ladder?
I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah, man.
It was in Aaron.
Yeah, where they did that big Irish parade. But final part of the show, I want to give Jeremy. Jeremy, how's your job search and everything coming along?
Things are in motion. I've got some proverbial balls in play. So I've got some stuff opening up. I'm just waiting to hear back from different people.
You hadn't seen no more ghosts, have you, on the golf course?
No, I hadn't been there since actually I went and talked to my old supervisor about trying to potentially come back, but I haven't been out on the course. But I've actually been Dan Eppright with Men of Hope.
Yeah,
I need to get his contact information because he said I gave him my information, but I need to get his information so I can send him some stuff. He said,
"You're wanting to work in." Are you wanting to get on the sheriff's department?
Law enforcement, more or less.
Law enforcement, whatever. I can put my skills to use. I actually just applied. I've just put an application for MTSU police, and they just opened up hiring waves.
Yeah.
So,
well, you'll do good in any
oh yeah, so you will.
I
vouch for that.
Man, I heard this guy sing at church last month. I
two
couldn't
weeks
believe
ago.
it. Man, I mean, it was seriously.
Can you do Village People song? Oh, we ain't got time.
I don't know.
Mike's favorite.
We'll do that
band
next
or
week.
favorite group. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Keith.
I ain't singing no Village People.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Roger, and our callers, Marty Luffman and Austin Maxwell, City Councilman. And folks, we'll catch up with you next week.